Well, hey folks, welcome back. Cumberland Outdoorsman here with you again, and today I'm going to be collecting some more wild mushrooms, some chanterelles. We've had a lot of rain lately, and as I scan the woods here, I see patches everywhere, all out through here. So we're going to collect some, and today I've got a little helper with me. This is my granddaughter. She's going to be holding the bag while I'm picking the mushrooms. And what do we got all around here? We got mushrooms here?
Yeah!
Yeah, all right. So without further ado, let's get right into it and let's harvest some of these mushrooms. What I see here are mostly golden chanterelles, which are actually my favorites. It's a little bit hot. Today's July the 25th. It's Saturday, but because there are so many mushrooms, I wanted to introduce my little granddaughter here to some outdoor fun like this. And I think it's so important to get kids in the outdoors and get them involved, you know, with something that's practical and useful. Hold that bag open while I get the mushrooms. This is what we're going to do.
Hey, why is the mushroom not in the thing?
Open the bag.
Why are the mushrooms just hanging like that?
Here. Open the bag.
Why are the mushrooms hanging like that?
They're just growing on the forest floor here. That's a typical golden chanterelle.
Hi!
Okay. Plop it in the bag.
Ooh, that looks like a nice one.
These are really fresh. They don't have any wormholes or anything in them, so they're...
Hey, I see some over there.
Yeah, they're all over here.
Can I pick this one? Pick that one. Looks so big and juicy. Looks big and juicy.
Open the bag. Got a video. Here's some more.
Look how many mushrooms we collect. I showed how many mushrooms that we collect.
Yeah, we got a lot more here. That's good. All right, let's go to the next spot.
Looks like that.
Here's a few fresh ones here. Let's collect these real quick. Here goes.
Yummy. I've never eaten. Have I eaten mushrooms before?
I don't know.
I haven't.
We're going to eat these. Well, that one's got worms in it. I'm not going to keep that one. That was good. Okay, folks, here's what I'm talking about with a fresh mushroom. See how that stem is solid? And here's one that's eaten out. Bugs have gotten to this one here. So the best thing to do is just leave these in the woods and harvest these good solid fresh ones here. I'll pop it in the bag.
Yeah. Gonna be delicious. Oh,
Hey look, what do you see right here? What is that right there?
Mud.
Yeah, but what's in the mud? What is that? What are those right there?
Poop.
Those are deer tracks. A deer been through here. Okay, this is the kind of woods I look for when I'm hunting these chanterelles. You want mixed hardwood forest with oak and maple, hickory, all different types of hardwood trees. That's where you're going to find these chanterelles. I'm sure there's another patch right up there. And you want these well-drained soils. That's where you'll find them, and good rainfall. Okay, these golden chanterelles, you'll see they have something that look like gills on the bottom, but they're not really gills. They're more like flattened ridges, and they stop right about there, right where that faint pale line is. That's your golden chanterelle. And they're not quite as brightly colored as the smooth chanterelle. And we're encountering both species here in these woods. I'm looking up there, there's a huge patch of them right there. But I'll show you the difference when we get there. Here, pop that in the bag.
Right.
All right. Okay, walking up here, I wanted to show you the size of this mushroom patch here. Look at that.
But in Minecraft?
They're all over here. I mean, all over the ground. We could fill that bag with just what's right here. And these are the smooth chanterelles. Some of these are pretty good size too. They all look real fresh. Look at that, there's more there. More over on the other side of that tree. All down through here. I mean, the forest floor is just dotted with them. And they're, believe me, they're not hard to find. They're very easy to find because that orange coloration really makes them stand out. These are choice edibles, and there's lots of them here. So we're going to harvest some of these. Okay, here we go. Get this big one right here, the first one. That's a smooth chanterelle. You see, it does not have the flattened gills like the golden chanterelle does. It's pretty much smooth on the bottom. So we'll get a few of these. Here, open the bag. Keep the bag open because we got a lot of them here to pick. Oops. You get that one right next to you there. Here. Don't look at the camera, look at me, buddy. Okay. Don't worry about the camera. Okay. Right up here, there's a big whole run of them right here. Back. Stand up here. Come follow me. Let's get some of these over here.
These are
All right. Oh, these are fresh.
bite the whole thing now.
I figured you would.
What do I do with the band now?
Keep it on.
It's hurting my skin, by the way.
All right.
Nope. It's broken.
Okay. Big guys. Is the bag getting heavier?
Yep. Can't even hold it really anymore.
Well, here's another big patch of these mushrooms here. Step over here. All these are fresh. You know, if they have one or two bug holes in them, it doesn't hurt them a bit. But if they're completely hollowed out, like that last mushroom that I showed you, if you have this many, why do you want to keep the bad ones? Keep the good ones. You can feel the stems when you're harvesting them. If they feel soft and hollow, then you don't want them. There's a good fresh one. Look at that. They're all over here. We'll go get some more of the golden ones here. There's more of them up on the hill. Okay, the more of these that I find, the further I go, the more I find. Look at that. I mean, they're just all over here. That's what you call an abundance. Don't step on it, baby. Step back. Okay, like I mentioned in my other videos, whenever you harvest these mushrooms, make sure you cut them off at the bottom. Don't rip them out of the ground. Okay, you want to do a nice clean cut at the bottom. Okay, let me show you what I'm talking about here. Right here at the bottom of the stem, just cut it off clean like that. And leave the rest of it in the ground.
There's some good mushrooms over here too. All over the place. There's a lot of mushrooms over there.
See, those are clean. Okay folks, here are 3 different varieties of chanterelles that I'm finding in the same woods. Now, this is a golden chanterelle. You can see it has more of a yellowish color and a pretty thick stalk, pretty solid thick stalk. And they have these flattened gills or flattened ridges at the bottom. Okay, and then I'll get the smooth chanterelle that has no ridges or no gills, and they're rather brightly colored on top. Fairly solid too, real meaty. And then I have this variety. They're also quite brightly colored, but they have more of a apricot color at the bottom instead of the yellow golden color. I think these are what's called the fragrant chanterelle, if I'm not mistaken. If anybody knows, just leave a comment below. But all these are edible and quite common on years with good rainfall. So we're going to head on up this ridge and finish out the video with a little recipe that I've got I'd like to share with you. Well, coming back up the trail here, heading back home, noticed all these chanterelles here, and I looked around, and right over there is a freshly emerged Luna moth. See how well it blends in there? There it is. Let's get a close-up of that. We'll walk over here. I don't want to disturb it too much. Right there. Let's see if I can get down on that. Get a real nice close-up here. That's a fresh Luna moth right there. That's a gorgeous creature. One of the most beautiful moths in North America right there. Let's see. We have a variety here that has those golden bands in the wings. You don't see that too often. Sometimes you see the wonders of nature like this, and I'm always so happy to have a young person like my little granddaughter here with me to share that. Share something like that, you know. It's not something you see every day. We're going to leave him alone. This is a male, by the way. I just wanted to point that out. The reason I know that is because they have real feathery antennae right there. The females have real thin antennae, but that's a male. Anyway, we're going to let him be, and as darkness falls, he'll probably take off from there and find a suitable mate. A lot of things that get overlooked, you walk right by them, and sometimes you just happen to spot them if you're lucky. Well, folks, thanks a lot for coming along with us. We had quite a good time in the woods, didn't we? Mm-hmm. Got a lot of mushrooms. We could have filled 3 of these bags, as you saw, because we found just tons of mushrooms. And there's so many other varieties out here that I'm not real sure of. I'm pretty sure a lot of them are edible because there's very few that are actually poisonous, or deadly poisonous anyway. I have not found any jack-o'-lanterns yet, and for some reason they're just not here. I have found them here in the woods before, but I wanted to show you what a jack-o'-lantern looked like in comparison to a chanterelle, because they look somewhat similar, you know. So anyway, the first video that I released this year was actually during the beginning of the season, and here we are right at the peak of it. You know, I'm looking around here in the woods and I see chanterelles growing just everywhere, all over, just polka dotted all over the forest floor. So anyway, let me get these cleaned up and we'll go in the kitchen and I'll show you a little recipe that I really enjoy and that you can fix very easily. So come along with me. So folks, here we are in the kitchen once again, and I'm going to show you just a quick little recipe for these chanterelle mushrooms. And you can do this if you want to try it. You can actually have these for breakfast or brunch or whatever, or maybe even for a late afternoon snack. What I'm going to do, as you can see, I've already got these mushrooms cleaned and processed. What I'm going to do is put them in the skillet. But first, I'm putting a little bit of olive oil. You can use butter or anything else. You know, butter's probably better. It probably tastes better. I'll go ahead and put in 1/2 diced onion, sweet onion. Let that saute for a little bit. A little bit more oil in there. You can use any brand olive oil if you want, but I like to use pure olive oil. And as those are starting to cook up here, I'll go ahead and add some of my mushrooms that I washed clean. For these eggs that I'm going to use, I like to use just pieces of mushroom. You know, there's no need really to cut them. You can just split them up like this. So what I'll do is I put fill the bottom up, not completely full, but where it's covering, and then let that cook for a while, and then I'll show you what comes next. So here I am back a few minutes later. It's been probably 10-15 minutes here on medium heat, and you can tell that these mushrooms have cooked down a lot. The whole bottom part of this skillet was full, and they really condensed, because as they cook, a lot of the moisture escapes, and that's what gives you that aroma. Just a wonderful aroma that they give off while they're cooking. In my opinion, these are the best mushrooms out there. I mean, bar none. Chanterelles just simply can't be beat. The flavor is so rich that other mushrooms out there just don't have that same quality to them. What I like to do now is add a little bit of whipping cream. Let that kind of cook in there. It helps tenderize them some. Because these mushrooms are not as fragile as other types, like portobellas or just the button mushrooms that you get in the store. These have more of a meaty quality to them. Now you could add some green peppers with this, which I think I may actually try that this time. I've got a green pepper here, so I'm going to add a little bit of green pepper in there with that before I put my eggs in. Okay, I've got a little bit of green pepper here that I've diced up. I'll mix that in with the mushrooms and let that cook a little bit. Make sure it's mixed nice and evenly. And we'll let that cook for a little while. Okay, now that that's cooked just a little bit, let's say 5 or 6 minutes, I'll go ahead and add a little bit of salt. I like to use this pink Himalayan salt because it has other minerals in there with it. Now we'll crack some eggs in here. All right, now I'm going to mix all that up real good. I know it don't look like much, but let me tell you, that's really good. I guess you could actually make an omelet out of this, but I like mine kind of fluffy, so I just keep the eggs scrambled. And you can serve this with bacon or sausage or whatever, or just eat it by itself. You know, it's good just by itself. You don't always have to add meat. Turn this off. Now it's just about ready to serve. And there you have it. Well, folks, that's a quick little recipe that you can try if you have some of these wild chanterelles available to you. And you know, just go follow the recipe as closely as you can, but you can deviate from it some. You can add other things in with it. You can, you know, cut up some ham or whatever and put that in there. But here's a taste test. We're going to give it a try now. You can definitely taste those mushrooms. That's good. That really is good. I've had this several times before. The onions kind of accentuate the mushroom flavor, add a little bit of a sweetness to it. But the green peppers I've never tried before. I just kind of wanted to throw those in there and see how well it would blend in, and it does. Peppers add another source of flavor. So anyway, you know, like I said before, if you can get out in the woods and you know the wild mushrooms that grow in your area, make sure you stick with only what you know. And until next time, y'all enjoy the great outdoors. And if you can get out and go hunting, fishing, camping, hiking, whatever it is you like, I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Take care, my friends.